found my father visiting my wife at work every night and I ignored it. I was already inside the store when I saw him again, standing near the back shelves like he belonged there. It was 9:12 p.m., closing time in 15 minutes, and my wife was behind the counter pretending to count receipts. I froze by the entrance, keys still in my hand, watching the two of them avoid looking at each other too carefully. He wasn't supposed to be there. Not that late. Not 3 nights in a row. I stepped closer, slow enough that they didn't notice right away. My shoes made that dull sound on the tile floor I've heard 1,000 times, but that night it felt louder. My wife finally looked up first. Her face tightened for a second, then smoothed out into something neutral. "You're early," she said. "I'm not," I replied. "You're closing." My father turned like he had just realized I existed. "I was just leaving," he said, already reaching for the door. I watched him go without stopping him. That's the part I keep thinking about. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask why he was there. I just let him walk past me like it was normal. After he left, the silence stretched out between me and her. "What was he doing here?" I asked. She shrugged, not looking at me. "He came to check on the place." "At 9 at night?" She didn't answer. She just kept stacking receipts, tapping them into a neat pile like that was the most important thing in the world. I should have pushed harder. I know that now, but something in me didn't want to hear whatever explanation she had ready, so I let it go. For a while, it kept happening. Not every night, but enough that I started noticing patterns. He would show up late, stay for 20, maybe 30 minutes, leave before I arrived or just as I walked in. Every time there was some small excuse that didn't quite fit, but also wasn't enough to explode over. I started coming earlier without telling her. The third time I did that, I saw them through the glass before I opened the door. They were standing close, not touching, but close enough that it felt wrong, too comfortable. I stood outside for a full minute, watching them talk quietly. I couldn't hear anything, just saw the way she leaned slightly toward him, the way he nodded like he was listening to something important. Then I opened the door. They stepped apart immediately. That was when the feeling in my chest changed from confusion to something heavier. That night at home, I asked her again, "Why does he keep coming there?" She sighed like I was being difficult. "He worries about us, about the business. He never worried before." She looked at me then, directly. "Why are you acting like this?" That question stayed with me longer than anything else. Like somehow I was the one doing something wrong. A few days later, I went to his house instead. I didn't call. I just showed up around the same time he usually visited her. His car wasn't there. I stood outside his gate for a while, already knowing what that meant. When I got to the store, the lights were still on even though it should have been closed. I didn't rush this time. I walked slower than I ever have. Through the window, I saw them, closer than before. This time there was no space between them. I don't remember opening the door. I just remember the sound of it hitting the wall and both of them turning at the same time. No one spoke at first. I looked at him, my father, then at her. "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer. He did, quietly. "It wasn't supposed to." "How long?" I repeated. "A few months," he said. I nodded like I understood, even though I didn't. Everything after that felt slow. Their voices, their explanations, the way they both tried to make it sound complicated instead of what it was. I didn't shout. I didn't hit anything. I just felt tired. I left them there and went home. Later, they both came back separately, tried to talk, apologize, explain. I listened, but nothing they said made a difference. The next morning I moved out. Not far. Just enough. I still see him sometimes. Family doesn't disappear completely. We sit in the same room and pretend nothing is broken beyond repair. I don't see her anymore. Sometimes I think about that first night, when I saw him in the store and said nothing. I keep wondering if that was the moment everything could have gone differently, or if it was already too late and I just didn't know it yet.